Yeah, nice to see everyone. I'm a little late, not so late. I'm speaking now from Germany.
Estoy un poco tarde, no tan tarde, estoy hablando desde Alemania.
Whoops, we can hear you now. Datyesha. Okay, I think I'll change this. Yeah. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get started. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitanscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasani Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So let's see, we have translation available in Polish language and in Espanol. Yes, Madhupuri is especially happy about that. Although he understands very well English. So my thanks to you translators, Datyesha, and who's translating Polish today? Is it Kavichandra?
Yes, Kavichandra Prabhu, Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
Excuse me, Guru Maharaj, would you be so kind just to turn the laptop in a certain way, or camera, wherever you have, because you have a side glare from the sun.
Oh yeah, I just now noticed that. Okay, what I'll do is I'll close the curtain because the problem is the weather is too nice. Let's see if that's better. Oh, it's still so bright. Well, it also looks kind of mystical, no? That's strange because, oh, it's coming from right here. I'm adjustments. Okay, I think that should be manageable now. Okay, so Hare Krishna and welcome again to Saturday Sangha, this time from Neuruppin in Germany. Neuruppin is north of Berlin. And this is, I'm now sitting in the very, very nice house, ashram of His Holiness Sacinandana Swami, who is kindly hosting me for a few days. And you will be happy to know this is not going to be a surprise guest. This will be a not surprise guest. We're going to have around less than an hour from now, we will have a short visit from Sacinandana Swami. He wants to greet you all. And he has some nice jyotirgata to share with you. Before that, what should we do? Well, we could sing Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song. I just realized I'm not connected here. Yeah, that should be better. We have song from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which we were continuing from last time. First, I have to call it up. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, no, that's not the one I want. Back, close. Let's go. Yeah. You received a link for the next song, song number 2, from Dharma-gupta this morning or today. And that's quite fine for next time. But we want to continue with this very long song number 1 of Sambandha-Abhideya-Prayojana-Vijnana from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Kalyana Kalpataru. And last time, I think we went through the first 12 verses. Verse number 12 was Krishna Kshetra Swami prakritir par brojete bilas Krishna kore nirantar. To find this song, you may need to scroll back to the link that you had for the previous week. I hope you can manage that.
Guru Maharaj, excuse me, I sent today a repeated link for the first song, so it's there as well.
Okay, okay, good. So everything is in order. Thank you.
And it will be in a chat. It's in a chat, I think, right now, so everyone can click in the chat and recall it from there.
Okay, very good. So this is now we want to begin with cid-dhama-bhaskara Krishna tara jyotirgata ananta citkana jiba tisthe abhirata. So this is, the whole song is a kind of summary of what is Sambandha. What's the ontology of reality of spiritual life? How do we understand who we are, this world, God, all the basics? What is our relation with God? What is Maya? And so on. And as we've discussed, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes didactic songs. He wants to share what Prabhupada would sometimes call the intricacies, the complexities of spiritual knowledge with the common folk in his Nam Harta preaching mission, especially. I believe that this was why he wrote so many of these songs for singing in the Namata groups. By this singing in their home language, for us, this is a foreign language, and so we don't appreciate it. We might imagine if the same song would be in our own language, it would just be like straight preaching explanations of things for us. So let's see, translations, okay. So song, unfortunately, couldn't make a split screen for this. Okay, translation of verse 13. Krishna is the shining sun of this all-cognizant spiritual abode. And within his effulgence dwell innumerable fine particles of pure cognizance called jiva. The verse before this translation, Krishna is that supreme absolute truth existing beyond the material energy. He eternally performs his daily pastimes within the realm known as Vraja. Okay, so that's establishing that Krishna is transcendental to this world and he is the supreme absolute truth. And then we get this kind of analogy that Krishna is the shining sun of this all-cognizant spiritual abode that is beyond this world. And then within his effulgence, that is to say, Brahman, what is it? Tara jyotirgata. Ananta-citkana jiva tisthe avirata. There's countless citkana, conscious particles, namely the jivas, tisthe, which are situated. What's avirata? situated. I don't know what is avirata. Sorry, would have to look it up. Avirata. Okay, let's go on. Verse 14, these jiva souls are by very nature full of pure ecstatic love and are all the dearly beloved of Lord Krishna. Always being attracted by Krishna, they continuously drink the ambrosial nectar of devotion. So this is elaborating from the previous verse about these countless particles, citkana, living entities. So they are not just, sort of, they're not just, they're conscious, but they're more than conscious. They're not just impersonally conscious. They are in relationship with the Lord. And that is a relationship of pure ecstatic love. I'm just going to continue reading translation and then we'll go to the Bengali. 15, enjoying a mixture of various moods in the mellow of servitude, the jivas eternally remain subjugated and controlled by Krishna's unlimited virtuous qualities. Interesting. So various moods, which maybe is from bhava or rasa, but there are various moods, but they're all in the mellow of servitude. Everyone is a servant. And that means they're not masters, and that means that the Lord is controlling the servants. And how is he doing it? With his unlimited virtuous qualities. In other words, he's so charming that he just inspires everyone to submit, to be submissive to. They also, this is 16, they also love Krishna in all the different moods of being related to him as a mother, father, friend, or husband. Yeah. So that suggests to me it could be that the previous verse 15 is about different moods of dasya-rasa, whereas now he's saying there's also vatsalya, there's also sakya, there's also madhurya. 17, eternally in Vrindavan, Krishna is the only male Purusha, and all the jivas there enjoy pastimes in his company in the role of females, prakriti. Now, someone might object, or someone might wonder, what about all the cowherd boys? Cowherd boys are also female? And what would we say to that? Well, one explanation that I found helpful is that, how to put it, within the category of prakriti. So there are two major categories. One is Purusha, one is prakriti in the Sankhya tradition. And going by what's being said here, in a certain sense, all of the countless living beings are within the category of Prakriti. In the Bhagavad Gita, what does it say in chapter 7, verse number 5? Anyone want to remind us? Any volunteers? Apareyam itastvanyam. Anyone have a Gita handy? Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidi me param. Jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam daryate jagat. There is prakriti, there is apara prakriti, and there's para prakriti. And what is para prakriti? Jiva bhuta, that's all the living beings, right? And so that would be in harmony with this idea that all jivas are prakriti. But what sort of prakriti? They are para prakriti. Okay, now still the question may be there. You're saying all jivas are female? Well, in relation to Krishna, in terms of principles, when we talk of Purusha Prakriti, we can say that in contrast to Krishna, who we may refer to as Purusha, that all jivas are Prakriti. And they take different forms, male and female. And of course, that distinction is there, but in relation to Krishna, at least in a certain sense of ontology, everyone is female. I hope that made some sense. Okay, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing now. He's moving very fast. He's moving from essential basics. He started out, what was the very first thing he said? Truth is one without a second. There is Parabrahman, there is Brahman, energetic source of all beings, of everything. He's the source of all energies. Then he discusses about relation between energy and energetic. There's a non-difference there. So it's all quite abstract. And then verse 5, for the purpose of expanding the Lord's pastimes, this potency manipulates his name, abode, qualities, associates, all according to transcendental time, place, and circumstance. So he's already in the 5th verse, he's kind of directing our attention to Krishna's pastimes. And now he's elaborating more on this. He's introduced the idea of the different relationships, the rasas. And now, let's see. Yeah, and in Vrindavan, Krishna is the only male Purusha. That's interesting. Okay, 18. There is no end to all of these blissful pastimes. Therefore, Krishna's pastimes are known for being indisputably supreme and unlimited. So why are Krishna's pastimes known to be undisputably supreme and unlimited? Because there's no end to them. And they are blissful. Now the plot thickens. So he's been discussing the spiritual world essentially, but now, verse 19, all the souls in whom the desire to enjoy separately awakens have to enter into the material world under the false conception of being a male, a purusha. Now you might have another question. You might say, wait. It's not that all conditioned souls are male. There's male and there is female. So what is he saying? He's saying that, yes, you may have a female body, but you're still in this purusha mentality of being an enjoyer. All the ladies are thinking, I will enjoy. All of the men are thinking, I will enjoy. All of that spirit of enjoyment is purusha bhava. And for that desire, the material world is made available by Krishna's kindness. Illusory material activities, as well as Maya herself, are both the shadow reflections of the eternal potency. In reality, Maya is the eternal maidservant of Krishna, but her job is to be in charge of operating the prison house of the material world. Okay, so some explanation of Maya. We hear in second canto, what is it, chapter 5 maybe, Vilajjamanaya yasya statumiksha pate muya, that Maya is embarrassed, vilajja. Statum, to stand, ikshapate, in the pathway of the sight of the Lord. She's embarrassed. Why? Because of what is her service. Her service is, we call in English, a thankless task. To throw those desiring material enjoyment into material enjoyment. This illusory energy, Maya, has created the material universe exactly like an imitation model of the real spiritual variegatedness, but with the added feature of being full of various miseries. Interesting way of putting it. Exactly like the spiritual variegatedness, but with one detail. Here, it is full of misery. If by chance a living entity becomes averse to the Supreme Lord Krishna, then Maya Devi's duty is to voluntarily offer her temptations of material happiness. If by chance, that's of course can raise all kinds of questions. What is this thing, chance? Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would say, there's no such thing as chance. There's no such thing as chance. There's probability, but what is probability? It's, what was someone's explanation? One statistician was explaining a probability is a best estimate based on our ignorance, something like that. Based on the limited extent of our knowledge of something, we may say there's a probability, for example, if you take a coin and, toss it up. Is it going to land heads or tails? We say there's a 50-50 probability that it will be one or the other. And that probability becomes increasingly so the more times you flip it. That's what they say. But what is this probability? It's still only an estimate based on ignorance. We don't know something, and so we can make an estimate. It's basically, I would suppose, a kind of inductive estimate based on previous experience. Okay. The point is that here is being mentioned chance, but what do we mean by chance? Okay, 2 more verses and then we can sing. In 23, intoxicated by Maya's illusory happiness, the living entity then forgets Krishna. Under the influence of such ignorance, false egoistic selfishness arises. So we just heard before, again, someone may be skeptical and say, wait, verse 21 just said, in this world is full of misery. And now he's saying that there is happiness. So which is it? And the happiness must be... oh, Tirtharaj, I think your microphone's on. Okay. The happiness of Maya's illusion must be so compelling. Otherwise, it would not be intoxicating in such a way as that living entities would forget Krishna. And then he's saying, as a consequence of this, false egoistic selfishness arises. Okay, we won't linger. Last one for today, 24. From such selfishness, she becomes rapidly absorbed in illusion. And then she develops angry grudges and envious hatred toward other living entities. She, presumably, is translating jiva, the living entity. So now it's describing the sort of the downward spiral of material existence and how it works. So now let's go back. And we have, all right. I hope you all have the text so that we can sing. We have a nice little harmonium today. cid-dhama-bhaskara Krishna tanra jyotirgata ananta-citkana jiba tisthe avirata cid-dhama-bhaskara Krishna tanra jyotirgata ananta-citkana jiba tisthe avirata se jiva prema-dharmi krsna-gata-prana sada Krishna bhakti-sudha bhana se jiba prema-dharmi krsna-gata-prana sada Krishna Kshetra bhakti-sudha nana-bhava-misrita piya dasya-rasa Krishna ananta-gune cid-dhama-bhaskara nana-bhava-misrita piya dasya-rasa Krishna ananta-gune cid-dhama-bhaskara Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Sakapati, je-sab, bhinna-bhava, Krishna Korerati. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Sakapati, je-sab, bhinna-bhava, Krishna Korerati. Krishna se Purusha ek Nitya Vrindavane jiba-gana nari-brnda Rame Krishna Sane. Krishna se Purusha ek Nitya Vrindavane jiba-gana nari-brnda Rame Krishna Sane. Seto ananda-lila jarnayanta ataiva Krishna-lila akanda ananta. Seto ananda-lila jarnayanta ataiva Krishna-lila akanda ananta. Je-sab jiba-gana upajilo Purusha-bhavete-tara jade-parai jade-paveshilo. Je-sab jiba-gana upajilo Purusha bhavete-tara jade-paveshilo. Maya karja jadamai nitya shakti chai Krishna dasi sheshata kararatri maya. Maya karja jadamaya nitya shakti chai Krishna dasi sheshata kore kara ratri mai. Se maya adar se samasta vishesha vaya katilo visha jate punatesha. Se maya adar se samasta vishesha vaya katilo visha jahe purna klesha. Jiba-jati hoilen Krishna vahimukha Maya devi tavetar jachilena sukha. Jiba-jati hoilen Krishna vahimukha Maya devi tavatar jachilena sukha. Maya suke mata jiva Shri Krishna bolilo Sheshe avidya vase asmita jamilo. Maya suke mata jiva Shri Krishna bolilo sheshe avidya boshe asmita janmilo asmita hoite hoilo maya binivesha taha hoite jada jata taha hoite jada gata raga ardvesha asmita hoite hoilo maya binivesha taha hoite jada gata raga ardvesha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jai. Hare Krishna. So again, welcome to all of you who have joined us a bit later. And again, we're speaking today, not from Sadhu Bhavan, but from Gora Bhavan. Gora Bhavan is the name of Sacinandana Swami's ashram, north of Berlin. Yesterday evening, we had a very nice program in Srivas Angan. This is the home of one devotee nearby. The event was a kirtan event with a particular aim, I would say, of having kirtan for the benefit of the people of Ukraine, and in particular for the devotees. Many Ukrainian devotees are fleeing from Ukraine, and some of them are, in Poland, there's more than 1.5 million, not devotees, but 1.5 million refugees. Some of them are continuing on to other countries, Germany and so on. And so some of the devotees are also coming to Germany. And here in Germany, devotees are making arrangements for them to places to stay and so on, including right here in Neuruppin. Apparently there will be some Ukraine devotees coming. So there was a report in our Sanga yesterday given about what the devotees are doing in this regard here. And then we had nice kirtan. Sacinandana Swami led. There were about 16 of us all together. Okay, there's messages here. Well, here's, oh, Sinisha has a long, let's see, maybe I can do something with this. Habe eine Frage, ewigen Swarup. Erst wieder entwickeln müssen, das würde bedeuten, dass wir zwar alles als spirituelle Personen leben, aber dass unsere ursprüngliche Form in diesem Körper nicht manifestiert ist. Die Frage ist, wie kann sich eine ewige Form in etwas Formloses umwandeln, um dann letztendlich wieder die ursprüngliche Form anzunehmen. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Sinisha is asking about the spiritual form of the living entity. And he's asking, how is it possible that it becomes something how does it lose its form in the material world? I think that's kind of, or how does it change? I would say this, our form is eternal. We are spiritual beings related to the eternal spiritual being. And it's not that our form becomes something without form. Form is there and it's covered. It's covered. Just as now we have our physical bodies, and these physical bodies function as a kind of covering. But also notice that this body is pervaded by consciousness. And that means that the form of the body is in some respects indicating the form of the soul. Just like the form of clothes that we put on indicate the form of the body that's wearing the clothes. So we're already with our spiritual forms and we're functioning in these temporary bodies. And to a certain extent, these material bodies are manifesting our spiritual form, but it is covered. And as we just read from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he didn't express it quite this way, but yeah, the material world is a perfect reflection of the spiritual world. The only difference is the misery. In the material world, there is misery. I think we have no doubt about that. And the misery is fully experienced with the material body. The body is, with its senses, with its nervous system, is conscious and sensitized, and in such a way that we can experience not only pleasure, but also pain. And this is the difficulty. He's going on, Sinisha, to sort of wonder about this external energy of Krishna is, of course, eternal. Well, yes and no. The pradhan, the energy or the let's say, the principle behind material energy, out of which the material energy manifests, is always existing. But as material energy manifests, it's constantly changing. That's a feature of material energy. It's constantly changing, isn't it? This is the meaning of the word jagat. Jagat, universe. It comes from the verbal root gam, which means to go, and gata. Ja is not a desiderative. There's another term, but it's indicating that the universe is constantly in flux. So that's the situation that we are in, and that is a cause for concern for us. And we see, we see destruction, and we are disturbed by it. And when we see destruction on a grand scale, it's like we're seeing the situation in Ukraine today. It is shocking, it is terrifying, it is horrifying, it is everything that is most disturbing to us. As we witness, what would this be called? Naimittika laya. There's nitya laya or pralaya. Pralaya means destruction. There's naimittika. Nitya means, here it doesn't mean eternal. Here it means constant. There's constant destruction. Like as we speak, within our body, some cells are dying. As we speak, the house or the building around us is imperceptibly falling apart, and so on. And then naimittika means occasional, and that's what we're seeing in the present terrible situation going on now in Ukraine. And then there's prakritika. Prakritika laya or pralaya means destruction of prakriti, and it's not exactly destruction, but it's laya. It becomes unmanifest. It can become, of course, partially destroyed or completely destroyed. An entire universe can go into Mahavishnu. Anyway, both levels, that's prakritika. And the final of the four types mentioned in Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 12th canto, chapter 4, verse 38. I was just looking at this today. The last type is atyantika. And atyantika, as I understand, it's the destruction that the yogi accomplishes by his or her advanced practice of yoga. It's the destruction of the connection with Prakriti, and therefore liberation is the idea. I might have that verse here. Let's see. Ah, yes, here it is. Nityo naimittikash chaiva tata prakritiko layaha Atyantikas cha katita kalasya gatir idrishi. Anyway, there are these 4 types of destruction. And so when you say material nature is eternal, well, yes and no. You can say the root is, but the workings of it is constantly being destroyed. The external energy of Krishna is eternal. On the other hand, it appears it doesn't seem appropriate that the functioning of material energy with higher spiritual energy in ihre Dynamik auf eine Stufe zu stellen. Okay, I'm not quite sure I completely get the issue, but I think Sacinandana Swami is coming now, so that could be. Yes, please come.
May
All right.
I enter the sacred assembly?
You certainly may. And I will give you my seat.
Really?
Please let me introduce you to someone you already know.
Sit down, please.
Shri Sacinandana Swami ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Let me see who's here. Haribo. I'm just, yes, Yamuna. Hare Krishna. Rasodari Hari, Haribol. And Anupma. And Kalakanda Prabhu. Daya Chandika. Wow. In Dubai, I believe, isn't it? Yes, yes. Mandali Dasi. Wow, our Mandali. Hare Krishna. My dear devotees, who else is there? Oh, so many.
If you click here, you can see more.
Yeah.
They won't all be visible.
Yes. Wonderful. Hridayananda Prabhu. Ananda-lila Devi Dasi. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm very happy to see all of you, and I will immediately address all of you. We are spending some very nice time together. Maharaj has graced our Gora Bhavan, and we are drinking from the cup of friendship, which has a very strengthening beverage. And I think all of us know how absolutely conducive this is for our spiritual life, to have discussions where you just talk what is in your mind, and also other discussions where you focus on a subject matter and explore it together to get some more perspectives. Maharaj told me yesterday that he holds these weekly sangas, and they have he has sometimes guests, and then I carefully asked if he wishes me to address you, and he affirmed yes, he wanted, and I've been thinking a little bit what I could discuss today briefly. We had a very nice discussion in the morning. I had seen Maharaj worshipping his Shilas, and one of the Shila is called Jagannath Narayan. Yes, you can. Jagannath Narayan, and this means the Lord of the entire universe in such a small Shila. I saw him doing his regular puja with devotion and focus, and I did not want to disturb at that time. But as I went downstairs to boil some water, I was thinking, here is a devotee, a professor, someone who thinks and can convince an academic crowd. And he, it would be hard for him to express how in such a small form, the Lord of the universe is present. I mean, the Lord of the universe is not a small thing. It is the biggest thing imaginable. And so we discussed a little bit about this question. How do we know anything? How do we know that Krishna is identical with the holy name? How do we know that he is identical with the deity? And we had our discussions. And this discussion reminded me of a pastime in Chaitanya-lila. I will tell you the pastime. It's about resolving a doubt. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was known for his ecstatic dances, where he would lose the consciousness of his environment. He would enter totally into an internal state of consciousness, where he would see things which were not visible to people who looked with mundane vision. He would, for instance, see Radha and Krishna. So this would give him such an amount of joy that when he would dance for long, long hours. His body would be covered with dust that was sticking to his limbs that were wet with perspiration. So he would look at some part of his body very dark because of the mixture of dust and his perspiration. He would display extraordinary symptoms like the shattering of his teeth. His bodily complexion would change, sometimes into a pinkish color. It is said by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, he displayed symptoms of ecstasy which had never been seen before on any being in this world. And there would also be mucus coming from his nose and covering his body. So the king, Prataparudra, was seeing all this, and in his mind, he developed a doubt. Can this be the Supreme Personality of Godhead? After all, the Lord is described as Purno Shuddha, totally pure. And here we see him covered with dust and mucus and all and symptoms of ecstasy, which would be categorized by people who don't know the science of bhava as madness. So his heart felt the ecstasy of being together with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but his mind developed a doubt. Can this be true? Can this be God? I think we all know in our own life this, that we feel spiritually nourished by Krishna consciousness, but our intellectual faculty, we'll say, is it really true? Can it be true? So this was the situation of Maharaj Prataparudra, who was a dear devotee. That night, Prataparudra did not speak to anyone. He did not reveal his mind, but he returned to his residence. Then he went to bed and he had a dream. In the dream, Lord Jagannath appeared to him. But how did he look? Water flowed constantly from his two nostrils, and his body became soaked with the saliva from his mouth. Prataparudra had never seen Lord Jagannath doing this, and he thought, what kind of pastime is my Lord Jagannath doing? I think you know the king is the first Sevite or the first servant of Lord Jagannath in Puri. What is he doing? So he, in his dream, he went forward to the altar. He could do this. He was the king. He was accepted as a first Sevite. And he wanted to touch Lord Jagannath's feet. But Jagannath said, my dear king, this is not proper. Your body is smeared with fragrant substances like sandalwood, camphor, musk, and also kumkum. And see, my body is covered with saliva and with dust. It's not proper for you to touch me. You are very pure. I'm very impure. And then he continued, today you saw my dancing on the road and you felt hesitant when you saw my body, which was covered at that time with dust and saliva. Just now, I'm dirty, but you are the son of the king. Please don't make yourself impure. After Lord Chaitanya had spoken like this, after Lord Jagannath had spoken like this, he smiled. And as he smiled, he turned into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting where Lord Jagannath was a moment before. And his entire body was covered by dust in the same way. And he repeated what Lord Jagannath had said to Prataparudra. It's not proper that you touch me. It is, you are so pure, I'm so impure. Shortly after this, the king woke up and began to cry. And he said, I'm a Maha Aparadi, I'm a sinner. The Lord has appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He showed it today. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is identical with Jagannath, and Jagannath is identical. And then he began to pray some prayers, which I want to give you a summary of. But I want to first request you to really focus on this. We sometimes do have doubts also. Our intelligence or our mind develops strange concepts. Our mind feels hesitant at times because Krishna consciousness is just so transcendental and beyond the grasp of the mind. But see, Prataparudra, it is described, he did not make a big thing out of it. He felt satisfied that he had seen Lord Chaitanya. He remembered his deep inner satisfaction in Krishna consciousness, and then the Lord revealed something. I feel this is very important when we have doubts. We can say these are doubts which develop in our mind, that is part of the material narrative that I'm the body, that there is nothing beyond death and so on. The mind is material, and it has material narratives, material convictions, material understanding, material limitations in understanding, and so on. It's natural that the mind at times will say, this is too much, I cannot see. But Krishna, seeing that his devotee requires an answer, will always give an answer if he sees that the devotee in principle does not give up his lotus feet, but he somehow, as we used to say in the old day, continues in his devotional life. Then Krishna will give a realization that is beyond the mind. Then Krishna will give an explanation and a reasoning that is beyond anything we could think up and make up in our minds. It just requires this readiness to go on, even if our mind develops a doubt. Prataparudra felt very sorry that he had made such a doubt in his mind. And he said to the Lord, Trahi, Trahi, Kripa Sindhu, Sava Jivanata, Muni Patakire Kara, Shubha Drishti Pata, save me, O ocean of mercy and Lord of all living entities. Please glance mercifully onto this sinful person. Save me, O supremely independent source of mercy. Save me, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, friend of the poor. Save me, O beloved Lord of Lakshmi. You are worshipped by all demigods. Save me, O you who are most affectionate to the devotees. This trahi, 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 save me, save me, save me, goes on for a few pages in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. How could a doubt which had appeared in the mind be totally removed so that he now approaches the Lord with all the symptoms of divine ecstasy? My dear devotees, it was very simple. Prataparudra Maharaj did not allow the doubt to go too deep. And therefore, Krishna was so kind to resolve it in his own unique way by appearing to him in this amazing darshan, where as Lord Jagannath, he said, I'm so pure, you're so impure. I'm too fallen to be touched by you. And then Lord Jagannath turned into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. With a smile, he turned into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said with a smile. I believe Krishna understands when we have doubts. And he may smile about the content of our foolish doubts, which are there in the mind. But he does not stop to be merciful to all of us. So what do you do when a cloud passes in the sky? You wait until it is gone and the sun is visible. What do you do when there is a doubt in Krishna or in... you wait, you continue until the Krishna sun is brilliantly visible again before you. Hare Krishna. I just wanted to share this because this morning I had a doubt when I saw your exalted spiritual master saying that the Lord of the universe is in that small Shila which he worshipped. But then a little later, my dear devotees, during maybe, I don't know, at 10 o'clock, I needed to prepare for a seminar, so I opened this book, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and I came right on that spot, and I understood. Wow, I may not have been so, let us say, magnificent as in Maharaj Prataparudra's case, where he saw Lord Jagannath turning into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But for me, in the Shastra, I received the answer which I needed to have. And that was my little miracle this morning. And I wanted to share this with you. I thank you very much.
Don't just go running away. There may be some question, there may be some discussion. Would anyone like to raise some question for Sacinandana Swami Maharaj? I don't know if they can hear me from here.
Can you hear Krishna Kshetra Maharaj acoustically? Yes? Yes,
Okay.
they not the...
Maharaj, Sacinandana Swami, my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna, this is Kalakanta Das.
Kalakanta Prabhu, I can see you.
Hare Krishna. So, a small doubt. Sometimes in our chanting, due to so much service, we enter into an automatic mode. And I've been trying many ways to get to a presence, to be present in chanting. What would you recommend?
When you see that that your mind really has switched off, and your emotions have switched off, you are not present any longer, but only your lips automatically move or mechanically move. The first thing really, Kalakanta, is you need to feel this is not good. If you accept it, if you say, well, other devotees also do like this, it's like saying, my car is broken, but it doesn't matter. My neighbor's car is also broken. No, you need to repair the situation if you want to move forward in your life. This is the first thing. It's not good if you just accept this as something which is the general status in the Hare Krishna movement. You should not be satisfied with this. You should, and the way I always advise others is we should know that Krishna is hearing us. And just like in a communication where you are expected to be fully there, Krishna expects you also to be fully there. And if you're not, then that is not nice. That's not good for Krishna. He's there in the form of the holy name. You are calling him, Hare Krishna, please accept me in your service, but you are absent-minded. This is in American English, they say this is a no-go. This is not good to do. You really must first arrive at the place where you understand what you are doing, and you are not justifying it by saying, well, many chant like me, I'm not Haridas Thakur, and so on and so forth.
Or I'm too busy.
Or I'm too busy, or so on. Then you should see what can be done against it. I will now give a few tips, and those of you, because I will just list them, you might like to take note. What helps very much to bring your mind into a more involved state is that you can read some prayers. You can, there is a book, it's called Bhajan Rahasya, which is devised according to the flow of the Shikshastakam. So you might have the Shikshastakam with a book with you, or the Shikshastakam prayers with you, and you might read them and allow yourself to be touched by the intensity of these prayers. Then you come out of this I don't care mood. This is one thing you might do. I prefer this one, I would call it a mood changer, or a reframing of your japa. I prefer this to the more mechanical tips, which I will also give, because some of us are very interested in mechanical tips. You can do one thing. You can stop your automatic chanting and then focus your attention on your chanting. To help you focus, you might look at a picture of Radha and Krishna, or of Gonitai and so on, which will, because if you focus your gaze, the mind also will be more stable. This is a general yogic principle. When the eyes move all over, the mind tends to be restless. You can just see that when you are in the car and the landscape flies left and right by you, then usually it is difficult to really focus, because our focus is connected with the perception of vision. So you can look at the deities or of the Mahamantra and so on, and you could focus. And then now listen to this Kalakanta. This now gets really very effective. Then after some time, relax the focus. Then again, focus. Then again, relax the focus. Then again, this is told by Madhvacharya, who gives a tip on chanting. He even is very yogically inclined. When he focuses, the attention gets here in between the eyebrows, you know, what Krishna talks about in the Gita. When he relaxes the focus, his attention goes back to the head. These are mechanical aids, and you, depending on how scientifically you approach mind control and these things, you will either like these aids or not. So let us maybe treat common ground here, where we are not usually so scientifically inclined in these things. Just focus. Sit before the deities. Maybe get up from the place where you sit cross-legged. This will sit properly, sit stable, and make a new start. But when you when you catch yourself being mechanic, I always say, congratulations. You have noticed what a japa criminal you are. Most of the time, my dear devotees, we don't notice. We think it's all right. We most of the time, people are in a distracted point of distracted field, mind field, when they chant. But when you catch yourself doing the wrong thing, Kalakanta, congratulations, because now you have the opportunity to correct yourself. But if you don't catch yourself, like most of us do, then you never, ever have the opportunity to correct yourself and will be forced to continue doing something which is very, very sad, to call for God and then not pay attention to him. This is not good. Hare Krishna.
I see that Anupama has her hand.
Oh, Anupama. Hare Krishna, Anupama. I see you. Saintly
Hare
Anupama.
Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
So my question is related to the pastime you narrated and the question of doubt. So my question is, what if answer from Krishna or sign from Krishna comes not in a form of a dream or a verse from scripture, but just as a thought? Because lately I've been thinking so much about certain issue in my life. And yesterday evening I asked Ramani, so what do you think how Krishna gives us signs? And I was really answered. So I was praying that something will happen in a dream last night, but it didn't happen. But it happened today. Because I was thinking so much about it, I came to a new conclusion, which kind of excluded many options I had before. And for me, it makes sense, but how can I know that it's really from Krishna?
Uh-huh. In a very general way, we can say, it's in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that from me come remembrance, knowledge, and also forgetfulness. So that memory or inspiration, if you so wish, that comes from Krishna usually has a certain taste. The inspiration which comes from Krishna, not just from your mental field, usually has a certain taste to it. And this taste helps you to distinguish it from mental concoction or imagination and something which might be divine. The taste of a genuine spiritual inspiration or an answer is that it is usually very consistent to what is there in the Shastras. It is furthermore very consistent to what you have heard from devotees in the past. It is furthermore very consistent to what you have heard from the Guru. It says Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra are helping us to understand the spiritual subject matter and distinguish it also from illusion. So, therefore, when you have an inspiration that has this taste or this sound, if you so want, of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, it can be taken serious. Also, Anupma, I would like to recommend to you to find out if your new insight is really something from Krishna. See if it stands the test of time. Do you still feel that this is very valuable tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, in a week's time? If it is coming from Krishna, it will somehow usually repeat itself. Because when the Lord sees that we don't understand the first time, he will say it the second time and the third time, because he cares for us. I would also do one thing. It is said in Kali Yuga, no, this is not just in Kali Yuga. You know, when there is something that a new insight, that we feel is profound and we need to explore. Is this something by which I should live my life? Then it's sometimes very good to speak with a trusted devotee about this. A devotee who knows you, who knows your situation, who knows what you are going through, and so on. And usually, when something is true, an insight is true, then that devotee will think, wow, that sounds really right. See, we are so often captured in the endless circles of which our mind takes, or the paths which our mind goes, that we cannot recognize anything outside these thought patterns, which we are well accustomed to. And therefore, we are caught in our own thinking orbits or thinking patterns. But when we ask a devotee and who is not in our thinking patterns, I mean, no second person is thinking exactly like we do, that sheds clarity. Yeah, how do I know that something is coming from Krishna? Anupma, I'm believing in spiritual experience very much. And I used to say in my young days, oh, that was Krishna. Krishna told me this also. I have become more careful because Krishna is so high. Krishna is so transcendental. Krishna is so beyond everything. But I do feel that in another way, everything is directly coming from Krishna. So, but maybe through the material energy, maybe through other devotees, maybe through circumstances and events, because nothing moves beyond Krishna. Everything moves under Krishna's control. We just have to learn to read. Read the signs, read what is there. So I think because I know you're a very serious devotee. You are one of our heroes in Krishna consciousness because you go through a very physically challenging situation and maintain your Krishna consciousness. I think Krishna will give you signs. And if you are not sure, ask other devotees and see, does this insight, is it standing the test of time? And then do your first little step in this direction. And if you get a positive result, yes, this is good, then you can move a few more steps and see, because Krishna always, Krishna will answer more when he sees you're genuinely wanting clarity. He will make it more clear. This is as good as I can do. Thank you for your wonderful question. And that was, I know Anupma since when the world was much younger. Hare Krishna.
I see Divyambara also.
Divyambara from America?
Yeah.
Where?
She's top left.
Ah, Divyambara, I see you. New York City. We are using your cooking book. And especially that soup with the sweet potato, which calms down vata. We take it almost every second evening. And in this way, we remember Divyambara.
Thank you, Jai Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you. This is the perfection of my cookbook, Maharaj. I just wrote a new one. I will send you a copy as soon as it's ready.
Please, please.
Thank you for reminding us of how much Krishna cares about each and every devotee. This was very touching. My question to you is twofold. So in your experience, what are symptoms? What are some symptoms or expressions of a devotee in doubt? Like behavioral, how does a devotee in doubt behave? Like, does he or she criticize too much, or like what are some expressions when you see a behavior and you may think, oh wow, yeah, this devotee must have some doubts about Krishna consciousness, and then how would you help a devotee in doubt? What is your advice for us?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
To notice these symptoms and to help somebody.
There are two symptoms which are always right. Telltale symptoms. I would say of the devotees who are in doubt, only 10% have the first symptom, and 90% have the second symptom. The first symptom of someone who is in doubt is that he will voice it. Some voice it very softly by asking a question, and others on the far end of the spectrum of the devotees who have doubts and who voice them is they will rage against God. They will be and they will criticize God, and also those devotees, who are convinced. They will also. But these, let us say, these. The people who have doubt and who voice their doubts in various forms of intensity make up only 10% of the doubting souls. Therefore, the other 90% is those devotees who settle into a comfort zone. They will outwardly say, yes, I'm a devotee, I follow, but they have made many compromises. I'm not saying that all devotees who as they become older, become a little bit more, let us say, adjust their life to the reality of their aging body, are doubtful devotees. No, I'm speaking now of those who are in doubt. They will settle into an area of let me say, compromise. Outwardly, they may say, yes, I believe in Krishna, but their activities are very much geared for their own satisfaction. By the way,
I'm thinking of a third symptom.
Yes, please.
It seems it can also be a symptom of doubt that one acts as a kind of fundamentalist. One becomes highly intolerant of all points of view other than what one thinks is the absolute truth. And one has a certain style of preaching, perhaps, but also behaving can be with other devotees, being intolerant of other devotees' behavior, being slightly off one way or the other. It seems to me, isn't it? That can also be a symptom of doubt. Maybe that's another 10%.
Yeah, Fanaticism is always an overcompensation of doubts. It's always like this, because a person who is convinced will not fight so hard with other opinions. You know, the fanatic needs to shoot down everything which is not according to his vision in order to stand tall in a glorious way for himself. Yeah, this is a very nice point. I listened to a lecture of Sutapa Prabhu, who I really can recommend he's a very nice devotee. And he said, in any spiritual movement, you will have 10% who are extremely enthusiastic and fired up. And you will find the other 10%, that's on the other spectrum, who are critical, who are on their way out, and so on. And he says, these two groups are not so much of interest for us, because most probably we will not be in the super enthusiastic group, nor in the super critical group. What is the 80% group? And he said, this is sociological, statistical finding. These are the people who are okay with it. I'm okay with it, and who have made some. They go some new paths, and they justify them, and like this. Yes. So. Hare Krishna. So the question is, how do we travel from the 80% to the 10%? Is it possible? He asked this question, and he arrives at the standard answers, as far as I remember, the Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing about Krishna, and doing that in the association of devotees. And here is my tip for my answer for you, Divyambara. When in doubt, you have to have convincing experiences that totally, how do you say, make your doubt disappear.
I think her question is more
what to tell them, isn't it?
what recognizing in another and how to help them.
Yeah, to recognize, yes, you can go by these symptoms. Are they critical? Are they compromising? Are they super fanatical? And are they vocative about it? And then I think to help them is you need to give them an experience. I have seen this sometimes. I remember in Radhadesh Mellows, I once, as I was entering the Kirtan Mandali, I was outside still. I saw a young man, and he had red eyes, and he just looked like someone who needed some orientation and help in the festival. So he had asked, "Can I just talk to you?" And we were outside. It was really cold, and I said, "Yes, but it's a little cold. No, just something small." And he said, "Maharaj, I'm a Gurukul boy, but I have lost all my hope and or all my relationship to Krishna consciousness." And then I smiled and I said, "And you have just now smoken hashish. I can see it from your eyes. They are red." He said, "Yes, yes." I said, "Don't worry. I'm not judgmental. I'm just emphasizing, or I'm just trying to show you I do understand your situation." And he said, "Maharaj, I'm here in for the Radhadesh Mellows. I hope that I can somehow reclaim my faith again. What is your tip?" I said, "Will you give me one chance? will you do what I tell you for 1 hour only? He said, I'm not sure what you will ask me. Nothing dangerous, nothing dangerous. So he said, you first say what you want to want me to do, and then I decide if I'm going to do it or not. So I said, you just come now with me up. I have this favorable dress. I can go very close to the kirtan, and I can pull you. You just stay right behind me, and then you will sit right there where the kirtaniyas are, in the eye of the storm, so to say. And for 1 hour, you will do only one thing. You will sing, and whenever your mind goes away from the holy name, as it will, whenever you become desperate or doubtful, whatever will happen in the mind, you return your mind to the singing of the holy name. If you have forgotten the Hare Krishna mantra, I can give you a mantra card. You can take help of the mantra card, but you need to come back to the holy name. And you pray to Krishna, that, my dear Lord Krishna, I'm very much removed from you, but I'm trying to connect with you. Please accept me. So in that mood, you sing. So then in the evening, when I'm out of the hall, you only need to be there 1 hour. When in the evening, at around 10 o'clock, I will leave the hall through this entrance, and you should stand there and you should tell me your experience. Can you do it? He said, I knew that this would come to me. Yeah, I will try. Because after all, he had come to Radhadesh Kirtan Mellows. It was already in the mind to chant the holy name. So I took his underarm here, I took him here over the wristwatch, and I pulled him with me, put him down in the front, and then I sometimes looked to the right if he was really doing it, some checking. And one time he to me and our eyes were meeting, he was noticing I was checking up on him. Yes, and he did it. And I don't know how long he stayed. He did stay at least for an hour. You can tell by the kirtan slots how long he was. And we did meet, not in the evening though. He had met some other devotees and had eaten something in the restaurant, but the next morning he came to me and said he thanks me very much. And yes, he did what I requested him. So Divyambara, you need to give them an experience. Those who are in doubt, you can invite them to Divya's kitchen. There it can start. Give them a free meal. And then you bring them to some experience in Krishna consciousness. When I was preaching, this person to person, Krishna Kshetra Maharaj and me were, I think, for a year a preaching party, and we would visit people, and the Maharaj would preach and I would preach to them. So I always knew I can say so many things, but the real transformation for these people will come if we cook for them and they eat prasadam, if we do kirtan at their house, and then we invite them to come to a pilgrimage to one of the temples and participate in the kirtans and so on. Experience tells much more. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, ultimately, in the second part, Gopkumar, or as he is known then, Swarup, knows that Brahmana to whom he told his story has not yet really understood everything. So he provided an experience in Krishna consciousness to him where he would meet actually the Supreme Lord, and then he was convinced. Experience, very important. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I know I speak for all of us here that we're eternally indebted to both of you to providing us with such experiences all the time. Thank you.
The Krishna Kshetra Maharaj is my example in Krishna consciousness. Yes. Nice. My dear devotees, if you would allow me, I will have to go because I have a seminar and I need to just prepare the things. It's for a simple person like me, quite involved things with handouts and slides and I'm not yet so sure about everything. And we've put it together, but I need to now put it really that tongue, it can go like this on the computer. So if you allow me, I will take your leave. And
let's all give a nice hearty Hari Bol to Sacinandana Swami.
Krishna. Very much. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hari Bol. Jai Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
Thanks.
You.
So nice, huh? Like getting a good spiritual shower. And after that nice discussion from Maharaj, I'm speechless. I have nothing really to add. Unless we just have 8 minutes. Why not? If you're not aware of it, there's a book, his older book on chanting the mantra is Sacinandana. I just see it here on the desk. It's Sacinandana Swami's first of 2 books, 2 at least he's done, maybe more, on chanting Hare Krishna. And this is called The Nectarian Ocean of the Holy Name. And the first part is a kind of summary of the Harinam Chintamani of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But then it goes into further details. Let's see. I think it's mainly based on teachings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In any case, then the second section is called Nama-bhava, chanting on the clearing stage. And I just came across this earlier today. There's a section called The Root of All Offenses, to be inattentive while chanting the holy name. This is pramada. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur analyzes 3 different kinds of inattention. So there's odasinya, which is indifference or lack of attraction. Comes from udasina, which is a word we find in the Bhagavad Gita. Surin mitra udasina. So odasinya is indifference. And this is explained, the ordinary person is attached to many things. Even while chanting, he feels attracted to them, thus remaining indifferent to the holy name. He may well chant 16 rounds, but his heart is not engaged. and he does not feel a drop of taste. How to give up this offense? If one becomes inattentive and apathetic while chanting, he should immediately approach Vaishnavas who are free from material influence and chant with them. This helps to diminish one's attachment to material life. Inspired by the Vaishnav's behavior, one desires to give up this frailty. Gradually, the heart will develop attraction to the holy name as one becomes eager to taste the nectar of the holy name. I can vouch for this. Just the last couple of days, chanting japa with Sacinandana Swami in his temple room. It's very nice. The second type of inattention is called jadya, which comes from the word jada. Jadya is laziness. And the third is vikshepa, which means distraction. So there's these three kinds: indifference, laziness, and distraction. These are different. You could say they're different aspects of inattention. It could well be that all three are present as we allow ourselves to be distracted. But I'm remembering now Mahatma Prabhu's japa affirmations. You've all heard me praising his japa affirmations. And the first one is, of his 20 affirmations, is to welcome the holy name. To welcome the holy name. I welcome the holy name. And the second one is, I easily chant and attentively and consciously chant my rounds. So they're positive affirmations. So these kind of affirmations can all be applied whenever some experience of what it is we don't like about our japa, we can think, well, what would be the opposite of this? What would be the positive? And we can make that into an affirmation and then practice it. The one I like is the third one. When I chant, I chant. It's also the easiest one to remember. Yeah. Okay. Well, I was not having a big major plan for today because I knew that Sacinandana Maharaj would join us, and sure enough, he gave us a very nice gift of his realizations and his insights. Kalakanta, you wanted to add something?
Oh, yes. Okay, now I can unmute. Yes, Guru Maharaj, I'd like to thank you. And you mentioned the book. That was the origin of my doubt to Sacinandana Swami. I have been reading this japa affirmation. And one was, I turn my world off.
Oh,
and
yes.
I turn on
Krishna's world. I switch my world off and I turn Krishna's world on. Yes.
And I started practicing that. So I wanted to hear more, and he was so nice. So thank you for both inspiring and bringing Sacinandana Swami today.
I'm just happened to be here, and he actually he proposed. He said, "Oh, if you like, join the session. So I said, of course. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to, what is it? Yeah, today's Saturday. Tomorrow will be Sunday feast in the Berlin temple. So we'll be there for that. And then Monday, I'll be going to Leipzig. So I'll be there a couple of days and then going into Czech Republic over Gaur Purnima. And then down to Vienna, Audarya Janani is expecting us there. Welche Seite von Wien wohnt ihr, Audarya Janani? Oh, maybe she doesn't hear. Okay. Okay. Well, then I will say thank you all again for joining us, and I wish you a wonderful week. Please pray for the people in Ukraine and everywhere in the world where people are undergoing such craziness. And let us, my prayer is, I may have said last time, I think I did, yeah. My prayer is, I like Prahladananda's, I like Prahlad Maharaj's prayer. Swastyastu vishwasyatala prasidatam. Dhyayantu bhutani shivam mitodhya. Manascha bhadram bhajatadat hokchaje. Aveshatam no matirapya hetuki. Let everyone, let there be auspicious everywhere. Let the envious become peaceful, and let everyone be engaged in the worship of Adhokshaja. Let everyone's mind, manas chabadram, bhajatad adhokshaje, aveshatam no matir, api ahaituki. Yes, let everyone be engaged in Krishna consciousness. It may sound unrealistic, but that's our hope. I mean, that's our prayer, isn't it? That's our prayer, because anything less is, yeah, I was thinking about this. Anything less than Krishna consciousness means sooner or later, conditions become so bad that they erupt in conflicts, in wars, in people hurting other people. Therefore, without having a common attraction to serving the Lord, serving Krishna, there will always be trouble. Isn't it? Seems like, yeah. Okay, I will leave you for now. Have a nice week. Keep well, keep sane, and chant and be happy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta-Gune ki jai.
Jai.
Nitai Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna family.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Very much. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Kelly.